Yeah, we live. I'm gonna check it, make sure we're good. All right, we good. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Shem Rachakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all you Wakim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And a couple brothers from the Great Millstone Houston Church, once again, I'm my brother Korah Abad, and as always, we got the beloved Elder Tazapah as well. He back this week. He back this week. He back.
Right.
Now you got it. You got it.
Oh no, that was it. I ain't had nothing to say. We can jump into it unless you have something.
Nah, that's it. We'll hop into it. And shalom to the El Datazari and the Akim Akwatu who may be tuning in. Yahweh Bashim Al Shai Brakatham. Shalom.
Hey, shalom, Makiam. Shalom, Zaquan.
Khan. But we'll hop into another one with the Wadi Yahweh Bashim Al Shai once again for allowing us to come back with another Thursday live to bring out the news, which is a lot happening in the world, and it's hard to keep up on everything. That's why the Lord blessed us with apostles, elders, Akim, to kind of touch on various topics throughout the week. Topics that we may not touch on, some things we may touch on or not touch on, another brother may touch on it, But nevertheless, seeing we're at the end of the world, as it said in Ephesians 5, it's time for us to be circumspect. Really, it's been time, but even more so, the time we coming in, right? But let me share my screen so y'all can see what we see, and we'll get into it. So today, we got a couple of things, and again, the last couple of weeks to a month, the main things that's been in the news really is Israel, Palestine, Gaza, Ukraine, still America, Russia. You see, so a lot of things that we've been talking about, they still in the mix, but we got a few things we want to touch on that's been hot lately. That's been hot. Now you still have those protests going on, as we said last week, on these different college campuses from the East Coast to the West Coast, which they saying this might be the new George Floyd situation to rouse people up, right? So you got that going on still, and even with that, with the protests, which that could be a psyop, right? For lack of better words, that can just be used so they can push this, as we're gonna touch on as well, misinformation. Right? Locking down on misinformation, locking down on talking about, as you see in the title, the small hats. So these things that Esau doing are being used to give him the okay to pass laws, man. We see you. Like I said, let me get a quick precept.
Yeah, that's right.
Real quick. And you got us a coin. If you got anything, we'll hop into it. This 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. It says, lest Satan, and we know Satan got a physical counterpart on earth, which is the so-called white man, woman, and child, which rule in the world right now. So it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, man. The Lord gave us this eye salve to see. We can clearly see the moves that this man making. His secret's been exposed. His plans been exposed. The last good thing he got off was 9/11. Everything after that, like Elder Yahshua, I'm gonna be saying, been tacky lately, man. So now he got to make laws to shut everybody up, and the real people want is the prophets. But if you have some Zaquan, we can hop into it.
Yeah, no, go ahead. All right.
Okay, so as you see from the title, it says Thursday Live, censorship, small hats, immigrants, and gradualism to the CBDC. Or should have put MOTB. But nevertheless, so, I kind of give a quick rundown on the articles we'll touch on. So you see in Australia, they forcing, you see that word forced, they forcing people to get an online ID to stop what? Misinformation. And then even in America, as we know, they trying to, well, I would say trying to. I'm gonna play this video, but this was what, a day ago, and they was trying to pass a law to get people to stop talking about the small hats. Well, we'll get this next article today. It was passed. It was passed. Right, Texas and on it. Then we'll touch on a gradualism coming to the CBDC and how they're gonna do that. But so let's hop into this first article real quick. Now, this is from naturalnews.com, and this was put out a couple of days ago on the 29th. And it says Australian politicians demanding forced. Let me blow it up so I can see the whole thing. All right, here it is. So it says Australian politicians demanding forced, keyword forced, remind me of causeth, but it said forced online ID and AI assisted content surveillance to stop the spread of misinformation. So it says, now check this out. It says, just like what's happening here in the United States right now, Australian politicians from both sides of the political spectrum are demanding more vigilance from social media platforms in censoring information. Let's look up that word, censor. Censorship. It says the suppression of or prohibition, which prohibition means forbidding something by law, banning it, right? So it says the suppression or prohibition of any parts of books, films, news, etc. that are considered obscene, which obscene is lewd, disgusting. So again, our message is more offensive to this world than what anybody could say about a small hat. What anybody could say. This word that the Lord got us speaking as, the prophets, as we bringing out these prophecies, it's offensive. And it make me think about Daniel in the book of Daniel. Remember, a whole law was given to the whole province, all for one man, the prophet, because of what he was saying, what he was speaking, and how he was living. So they made a law that nobody could speak to another guy, do nothing, all for who? Daniel. So we're seeing a lot of these laws about to be put in place of censorship, right? Misinformation, all for who really? For the prophets, man. So let's hop into it. It says the recent Sydney stabbing attacks and what people are saying about them online prompted Australian politicians to call for sweeping censorship rules to remove all misinformation about the incidents from the internet. I'm gonna jump down. It says, I'll read a little bit. In addition to pushing for new online age verification requirements in order to use the internet, the Australian government also wants more artificial intelligence embedded within online systems to surveil, detect, and remove anything the government decides is false or off limits to the public. What the government decide. So if it ain't with the agenda, guess what? It's gonna be off limits. Let's jump down. So I'm gonna read a little bit of this and we can move on. I just want to highlight, look, because America ain't the only place. America really going harder than what we're reading about with Australia. We'll get into a little bit of it. So it says they must start to understand their social responsibility. Albanese said, addressing the concept of what he called social license. That sounds like social credit score. Social credit score. You got something?
No. You good, brother.
Con. It says Duton agrees supporting the online age verification or digital ID, a system of ensuring that the internet is only acceptable. Now, hold on. Let's read this again. Let's start over. It says Duton agrees supporting the online verification or digital ID, a system of ensuring that the internet is only accessible to people whom the government deems worthy of using it. implementing mandatory digital ID, according to Due Time, will make the internet a much better place. Come on, man. We've been talking about that Black Mirror episode. You have to bow down to the government in order to get these perks. You see? To be let into this building, to eat this food, to get on the internet. These things are coming. I'm going to read this last little part and we can move on. So it says, Due Time also wants to expand Australian law to more strictly prohibit the sharing and spread of disinformation and misinformation, boasting that perhaps Five Eyes, an intelligent coalition comprised of Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the UK, United Kingdom, and the United States, should start to exert pressure on social media companies. So you see what they leaning towards, man. Surveilling the world, which we know this. We already know this. But they putting it out there for the people to know. But before we play this video, Zaquan, you got a precept or something? Anything else?
I got a quick point. With the ESG and all of that, that's going to tie into that with the censorship, because that's how they, going to punish you.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been showing or giving us examples of that, with the whole cancel culture thing. If you don't go along with the narrative of what the elite got going on, then, they penalize you. So they're, and what is ESG? Environmental, social, governance?
Con.
And, social also goes into social media. So they're going to be policing people's actions on the internet, what you say, what sites you visit, and all that will be deducted from your score until you, you violate enough times, you just be completely took off of the internet or denied internet access altogether. All right. And you might say, well, that's no big deal, but the way that they're taking society, that's pretty much all that they want you to have. There won't be no congregating, going out, going to the club with, where Esau is taking society, this dystopian future that they got set, 15-minute cities and all of this, as we bring out in the scriptures pretty much every week. A man shall desire to go to, into a city and won't be able to. So most of your interactions will be through internet, all right? So when they take that away, you just, more likely to be sitting in your house looking at four walls. And as the brother mentioned, this is really an attack toward the truth. All right. Us mainly, the prophets, but anybody else who wishes to speak out or go against, again, the narrative or the government protocol. So in Galatians chapter 4, verse 16, it says, "Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth?" All right. And Paul was speaking to, he was speaking to Israelites, but this is, this can apply to Esau today, because he loves to make a man an offender for a word. And this is where this is coming to. All right, we also speak about, and I'll bring out one more, Revelation 13. So Revelation 13, verse 11, it says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." All right. Now that goes into, that beast is America coming up out of the earth. The two horns represent the two-party power structure, governing structure here in America, the Republicans and the Democrats in this democratic system. All right, those are the two horns, like a lamb. It says, and he spake as a dragon, and that's speaking on draconian legislation.
Mm-hmm.
Which, when you go into draconian legislation, you're talking about instituting the harshest penalties for the most minute infractions. So in other words, for telling the truth, you get your voice taken or your platform taken away. And again, we've been conditioned for that. YouTube has been conditioning us with that. You can't say this. You can't say that. That's a strike.
All right.
Oh, we pulling your whole page. That's it. That's too many strikes. We pulling your page. Man, this was all grooming. So the people are groomed for this. Just as you've been groomed with the credit score to dance to their tune. Oh, pay your bills on time. I'm gonna deduct. Yes, you was at 8. Now you at 7. You pay your bills. Oh, you was late on that. That's a 6. That's you down to 600. And then some shit that people didn't even worry about. I think the credit card came out in the late 70s. They started keeping the credit score around the 80s. I had looked that up. When was the credit score introduced? And it was like around the 80s, but it wasn't that big then. It really started hitting around 2000 because people, they didn't borrow as much back then. You wanted to get you a house, buy some land, you went to the bank, and that was pretty much the extent of Jake borrowing money. You didn't have money to buy the new car, you went and bought you could get a car for $300 back in my day, coming up. A used car, not brand new. You get a used car it wasn't nothing to get a used car for $500. Shit, you save up a couple of checks, you go get you a used car. But now everybody got to have, my credit score, man, credit score this. That's conditioning for this shit that they getting ready to pull right now.
That's right.
So yeah, those who speak the truth will become enemies to the establishment. That's it, brother.
Hey, y'all, Paul, that's on point. And I got that for you too. It says that the FICO credit score was first introduced in 1989. So around the time you were saying,
okay.
Yep.
I was thinking early 80s, but okay, 89 when they really started pushing that. And now people act like they can't live without it. We didn't have that coming up when I was coming up, a young, a child, and into my teenage years, that wasn't a thing. But now people act like they can't live without it. Just like with these cell phones, that definitely wasn't a thing when I was coming up. Now, you leave your cell phone at home, you liable to lose your mind. Myself included. I could be damn near at work and don't have my phone, I'm gonna turn around. But yeah, brother.
I got a real quick one, we could play that video. It's Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 15. It says, I'm gonna start at 14. It says, and judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter. That's the point. Yeah, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And that's us, as the elder was just saying. We departed from the society.
Yeah, that's a good one. Go ahead,
I was just saying we departed from the society, and now we speaking against it. So therefore, guess what? Everybody gonna be against us, man. That's looked at as a form of treason if you're here in America. And now they're making laws to punish those same people. But again, it's not to punish those. And let's get into it. It's not to punish these protesters. And look, they could be hired actors. They need them out there to make these laws Come on, man, for the prophets. But let's go ahead and play this video. So look, this was in Australia.
One more then. Or you play that. Let's see here. This is Psalm 64 and verse 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And they got to stop this too. All right. Now, again, the bulk of this attack is aimed at us, the prophets. But they also want to stop all this whistleblowing and tattletelling and snitching. See, Esau be telling, Esau that be privy to some of these plans and they get ostracized and get their feelings hurt when Esau, no, you ain't, yeah, thank you for your help, but you ain't coming in the bunkers with us. And then motherfucker get an attitude and he go on the internet, yeah, these motherfuckers doing this, that, and the third and all this. And you gonna see this happening, and then you gonna see that. And they gotta stop all of that shit because they are losing the advantage of the narrative. Look at October the 7th. Ain't nobody on Israel's side with that shit no more.
Right.
The whole world, I just seen the headline, Colombia is saying, man, fuck Netanyahu. And then the headline didn't say that, but they saying that, they not with what's going on over there in Gaza. This is coming from Colombia and many other countries. So that's why they got and here in America, Netanyahu scalding President Biden saying, man, you got to shut them college students up because what they doing is wicked. And people calling them out on their wickedness, speaking truth, but they got to, on both sides of the coin. Us on the right-hand side, as well as their own people on the left-hand side, is spilling the beans. And so they got to get this under wraps. All right. And we know where that's going to lead. Over in the book of Amos. I don't know if you want to get it now or you want to get it later.
We could probably get in a few.
All right. Go ahead.
Because what they go say, roll right into it. You're talking about that famine of the word, right?
Yeah, right.
Now, so you can get it right now. If the Lord want to let us get it, brother. Okay, come. So let's play this video. So we've seen what's going on in Australia. They're forcing them to get digital IDs to stop misinformation, and they go surveil the internet and social media. Now, as the elder was just saying, linebacking off of him, as we've been seeing for the past 2 weeks or so, all these protests and uproar on these college campuses. Now, that could be actors, that could be real people, who in college, some real Palestinians who might go to Colombia and then their friends feel bad for her or him and they help too. The point is, this going on, but that's giving them a green light to force, as it said right here, a police state to force more laws and a censorship, man. Let's play it. So this Mike from Brighteon. Now his title says, frightening new law coming to install Zionist thought police on every college campus across America. Thought police. Let's play it.
Did you know that 2 members of Congress are now pushing a law that would install Zionist-run thought police on universities across America, on campus? These would be speech monitors, and their job is to monitor people's...
And so, I ain't going to stop it, but I think of what Apostle Aram Live, he say here and there, that what apostles in the whole, but they say that quote, I don't know who quoted it, but they said, learn who control the world or learn who rule the world. That's the ones you can't talk about, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's clear. Come on, man. It's clear these people ain't the people of the Lord. It was never said at the end of the world, they was just going to have, set up order that nobody can't say nothing. According to the prophecies, Israel was going to be a byword, proverbs, so on and so forth. But what type of madness is this? Look what they're doing, and then you send laws so nobody can't say nothing? That's crazy.
People's speech and thoughts for anything that could be anti-Semitic. And no, this is not a parody. These would be speech monitors, and their job is to monitor people's speech and thoughts for anything that could be anti-Semitic. And no, this is not a parody. This is not a joke. This is real life 1984 Orwellian, thought police state run by the Zionists and the ADL. And it's all being done to protect the genocide of Israel, which is a Zionist regime of murderous lunatics who are, of course, systematically killing, just exterminating the Palestinian people. But if you say that, well, you might be expelled from college. You might be arrested at some point. Who knows? That's what they're pushing for. I mean, Israel wants to criminalize anyone who criticizes Israel. And that's how they've gotten away with all their crimes since, well, at least 1948 with the Nakba, is they've always played the victim. Oh, we were victimized in the Holocaust, and therefore they claim they can commit a Holocaust against anybody they want. And you can't say anything against it because they're the victims. Oh, they're good at playing victims. But what they really do is they victimize everybody else around them. And now they want to turn America into an Orwellian thought police state. And they're playing all kinds of tricks to try to carry this out as well. And the GOP is going along with it. And a lot of conservatives, a lot of influencers, a lot of conservative publishers like Breitbart.com are all in with the Zionists. They're run by the Zionists. And you're starting to see claims that, well, the college, student protests, well, they're endorsed by Hamas. Therefore, the saying goes, you've heard this from senators, therefore, the college protests are acts of terrorism. Therefore, well, they can use warrantless FISA surveillance on the students because, hey, that act was passed by, well, Democrats and Republicans and Speaker Johnson in order to spy on terrorists. And here we go. Here's a bunch of terrorists. They're students and staff. Your economics professor might be a terrorist, right? This is.
Oh, that's another thing they were saying. We briefly touched on it last week, but these people they're arresting at those protests, they also tracking them. They tracking them, checking them. Some of them, they took them to jail and they still silencing them, which I don't know how, but that was the reports. But the point is, and I remember doing a CV, when CV first popped off, remember it wasn't thought police, but if anybody felt like somebody had CV, you can go tell on them and they'll come get you or whatever, But we see these things coming so they can, one, divide the people. That's another thing that's going on. You choose this side, I choose that side. A civil war. Let me play it a little bit more. You got something?
Oh, no, go ahead.
This is what it is now. So if you've ever wondered how exactly would all these laws be weaponized against you and against innocent people, well, this is it. If you just say free Palestine, suddenly you're designated a terrorist and they use the entire deep state weaponized surveillance system against you. While Israel cheers, by the way, and the Zionists cheer. Isn't it amazing how evil Zionism has turned out to be? I mean, I know at first that a lot of people, including myself, we felt very sorry for Israel after October 7th because of the Hamas attack. And then Israel's response to that, which was initially described as self-defense, then they began just bombing the smithereens out of Gaza and, killing 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 civilians, women and children, bombing hospitals, bombing universities. You're like, wait a second. This isn't self-defense. This is genocide. In fact, it's Gerald Celente who was asking on Twitter just yesterday, I believe. He said, well, how long before Israel starts bombing U.S. universities? And yeah, he's got a point because they will claim, well, there might be Hamas on campus, you see, so have to bomb the U.S. universities just like they bombed the universities in Gaza, which they did. So let me just say this for the record. Anybody out there, especially any conservative who claims to believe in freedom of speech or liberty or pro-life, if you are still supporting Israel, there's something wrong with your head. You cannot possibly support Israel and still have any principles whatsoever. I mean, unless your principles are Satanism and death and destruction and human suffering, yeah.
Man, see, everybody talking against these small hats, man. The Lord got the scope on these people, not just, American Edomites, but especially those who took hold to our identity, man. these people will get exposed more and more as we get closer to the end, which is gonna force their hand, right? Now, so I'm gonna put that in the chat. He said a little bit more. I might play a little bit more, but at this point in time, when this came out, which a couple of days ago, he said a new law was coming. They were still thinking about it, but today, May 2nd, from Blacklisted News, it says the House passes, and Shalom and the water to that brother Shemawan, he put this in the chat. It says House passes Anti-Semitic Awareness Act to silence criticism of Israel as hate speech.
Yeah, anti-Semitism.
Man, kind
yeah, anti-Semitism, and we're gonna clear this up. Even though the apostles been saying this ever since I've been, following them, and I'm sure going back before that, the word is not Semitism, or it goes back to Shemite, okay, which refers to all of the sons of Shem, which half of the world are. You talk about Shemites, you talking about us, the Negroes, the Latinos, the Native Americans, who predominantly make up the children of Israel. We at the top. We the top Shemites, all right? Then you got them funky ass Edomites, the sons of the wicked. But then you also got the Arabs, the Chinese, the Japanese. Shit, who I'm missing? I gotta need the sign now. But it's a whole host of people around the world who are Shemites. All right? And that's why they tweak the word and call it Semites. There's no such thing as Semitism or anti-Semitism or being a Semite. No, it goes back to Shem, all right? Our forefather Shem, who we come forth from, okay? But they know that. The people don't know and understand, but this is why the prophets are here. We're here to give you that knowledge and that understanding, all right? And this is Isaiah 33:6. It says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. If I didn't have this truth, I'd be bugged out right now. Just seeing all of this shit that, if it wasn't for the scriptures, it wouldn't make sense. Just as, this bill, the one place where free speech should be upheld and promoted, all right, on college campuses. Now they're criminalizing it. Because what is it? You talk about universities or colleges, you're talking about what? It's supposed to be places of higher learning. It's supposed to promote free speech, free thought. All right. On your average college campus, you just see people set up outside having debates or discussing issues. And that's what the atmosphere of a university or college should be about. The exchange, the free exchange of ideas and information. For what? For the sculpting of the minds of the future. And this is why this shit is so critical, because they don't want well-informed, free-thinking people. Because even, Whitney Houston told us, she said, she believed the children are the future. Of course. So they got to start grooming these kids from kindergarten now all the way through till they graduate, which they've been doing. But yeah, this has got to be a must for this new dystopian society that they're getting ready to institute. They got to get the minds of the youth. And so, right, and he's speaking against Israel, we're not having that. And he's speaking out against the U.S. government. We ain't having that. All right, because these will be the future. Well, yeah, the future movers and shakers of society. But yeah, my point being, man, if I didn't have the understanding of these scriptures, nothing makes sense in America right now.
Mhm.
You know, but this truth keeps me grounded, keeps me sane. You got it out.
Man, that's it. And it's amazing how you could just tell whole countries don't talk about us, and they say okay. Like, come on, man.
Right.
So that's crazy. But it says House passes Anti-Semitism Awareness Act to silence criticism of Israel as hate speech. What if, and again, like you just said, what if somebody just having a conversation and just don't happen to agree with what the small hat's doing? Then what? They could be labeled as a terror IST. So it says the House on Wednesday, yesterday, passed the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act to silence criticism of Jews and Israel as hate speech and empower the federal government to crack down on anti-Israel protests on college campuses. Now, let's go give a list of examples on things that could classify you or you fit the lines of hate speech against Israel. We're going to read a few. Right? Let's read a few. Let's see. So let's read a few things. So it says, do you agree with all these examples of anti-Semitism? Let's read them. It says, contemporary examples of anti-Semitism in public life, the media, schools, the workplace, and in the religious atmosphere, the religious sphere could, taking into account the overall context, include, but are not limited. It says, calling for or aiding or justifying the killing or harming of any small hats in the name of radical ideology or extremist view of religion. This is why I got an issue at. Reading this first one, they said you can't say nothing against them that's radical, extreme, about killing, but look what they doing. Look
Right.
what Netanyahu over there doing. This man said, I ain't stopping. I want the whole Gaza Strip. He ain't stopping. They okay with what they doing to the Palestinians, what they may be doing to all these other people, but when you speak against them, it's an issue. Come on,
I
man.
will say this: the people of Israel want Netanyahu the F out of there, and that he promoting this war. Actually, well, a part of him promoting this war is for him to stay in power. Because if you remember, before all of this started, they was having them uprisings, the turmoil that was going on, but behind it was a reform of it was a judicial reform that was going on. But what they wanted Netanyahu out. Now, ever since this war, it's just, it's really the elite. I spoke on that a little bit in my lesson yesterday. You got a funny divide right now, and it's with the elite and the people. Where these puppet leaders who act on behalf of the elite and the people. Yeah, call for Netanyahu's removal. This has been going on. And so this is why he was saying, yeah, even with the ICC, they want to indict his ass. And they said, no, let's wait till the war over. Or well, America came out and said, Joe Biden and the White House saying that they don't have the right to go after Netanyahu and all of this. Man, yeah, that's the people. A lot of the people in Israel ain't with even what's going on. So I just wanted to put that out there. This is the elite going for the power grab. This is them about to fill their belly.
That's right.
And what did it say? That they would be in straits because the people ain't feeling this shit. The people tired, man. People hungry. wearied from war, can't pay their bills. How many people here in America homeless? And you talking about sending money to goddamn Israel, sending money to Ukraine. Man, people are not with this bullshit. But yeah, bro, go ahead, man. That shit pissed me off. Like I said, if it wasn't for these scriptures, I don't know what I'd be doing right now.
Man, for real.
Because nothing in the world makes sense right now. But go ahead,
Man, you be mad. You wake up just mad for, no reason,
all
man.
kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Come
I've been
on.
mad all day. I don't even know why. I just been mad.
Yeah, that's real talk.
For real, my son got a whip. I came home, I whooped him, because he cried once. Like I'm about to go tell him Salagi. But let's finish this. So it says, so this will also can classify as hate speech or label you as a terror IST if you speak about the Jews. So this what else? It says making mendacious, which I got that word mendacious pulled up, quick Google definition. It says mendacious, telling lies, especially habitual, dishonest, lying, or untruth. Now watch this. Watch this. It says making mendacious, dehumanizing, or demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such, or the power of the Jews as collective. Now check out what they say. Especially, but not exclusively, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy or of Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or other societal institutions. They said if you say this, you lying, it's mendacious, you demonizing us, but the thing is, it's true.
Yep.
It's true. Like, come on, man. What are we talking about? It's true, though. And two, even that, I seen Apostle Tahar, he put up a lesson, going into even how we respond to these people, man. Using wisdom on how to respond to these people. But the thing is, all the stuff even us as prophets are saying is true, but they're going to use this law to make us look bad, man. It says accusing Jews as a people of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoing committed by a single Jewish person or a group. Let's see. I'm gonna just kind of read through them quick. If you say something about the HOLO cost, it says if you deny the Jewish people their right to self-determination by claiming that the existence of a state of Israel is a racist endeavor, right? It's not in the Bible, the state of Israel. And to see everything they got a problem with is true, though.
Yep.
Because the thing is true. Like, what the fuck? Now, check this out. It says, if you say something like this, using the symbols and images associated with classic anti-Semitism, for example, claims of Jews killing Jesus or blood libel or label to characterize Israel or Israelis. So if you say that the Jews killed Jesus, they got a problem with that too. Come on, that's crazy.
Yeah, blood libel means you guilty of this blood.
The water. So I'm gonna read a little bit of this article and we can move on. And two of us, we can get that precept. I get it. You could
Well, Amos or what? Which one you want?
That famine of the word.
Okay.
Because now check this out, and I'm gonna put all this in the chat. I'm not gonna read all this on the article. It's a lot. I'm gonna put this in the chat for y'all, so y'all check it out. Now let's see. For example, so Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene also criticized the bill, writing, "Anti-Semitism is wrong, but I would not be voting for the Anti-Small Hat Awareness Act of 2023, HR 6090. It says today, right? Today. So now that this law is passed, it says today that could convict Christians of anti-Semitism for believing the gospel that says Jesus was handed over to Herod to be crucified by the Jews. Or really, he was handed over by the Jews to be crucified by, the Romans. But nevertheless, even if you start speaking about things in the scriptures, they got a problem with that when it's not even them. Now, I'm gonna read this last portion because this is what Representative Matt Gaetz said, which he talking about the Bible, but we know the gospel is this truth that we've been speaking. Now, check this out. Representative Matt Gaetz also called out the hate speech bill and said it would criminalize the gospel itself. And again, what's a big part of our message? Other than what we tell Israel, because Israel, first and foremost, are our people. We the ones that got an opportunity to be saved. But on the other side of things, as far as these heathens, what we say, exposing Esau, prophesying against Babylon, and also exposing these small hats. That's part of the message, man. So seeing they putting bills into place, just what Matt Gaetz said, which he just thinking about the Bible, but we understand it. It says Matt Gaetz also called the hate speech bill, called out the hate speech bill, and said it would criminalize the gospel itself. I'm keep thinking about Daniel, which I ain't gonna get it, but Daniel, they put a law for the whole province that nobody could pray to no other God. I forget how many days, 30 days or something, all for one man, just for Daniel. A law was passed. We seeing the same thing. Laws being passed for whole nations, America, so on and so forth, states, all to shut the prophets up, man. Now the world, they caught them, can't speak against Israel, but we understand it's a hit towards the prophets. But you got to do, Zaquan.
All right. Amos chapter 8, verse 11.
You can go into it too.
Uh-huh.
I said you can speak on it too.
All right, Con. It's Amos chapter 8, verse 11. Behold, the days come, said the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So, yeah, it's straightforward right there. The days are going to come where the Lord is going to call back his prophets, all right, so that the rest of the prophecies can run their course, all right? It was prophesied to us a time to go out and preach the gospel, and according to Amos 8 and 11, as I just read, it's prophesied it's going to come a time where we're going to be called off of the streets, for lack of a better term. And that's when you're going to see that famine of the hearing of the words of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right? So, yeah. Y'all had, almost 20 years, man. But being on the internet almost, depending whether because we don't know, this Amos 8 and 11 might take place this year. But let's say we get through this year, I seriously doubt we'll be prophesying out on the highways and byways in 2025, but that'll be 18 years that this word has been readily available to you stiff-necked, rebellious, and hard-hearted Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So y'all had more than enough time. That's a whole generation.
Mm-hmm.
The apostles been preaching for over 3 generations. So if you ain't got it by now, it ain't meant for you to get it. But yes, it's gonna come a time where you ain't gonna hear no more. All right, we the Hebrew Israelites, you ain't gonna be hearing that real soon. Especially, this is what we're going into in today's lesson, especially on the internet. We won't be on the street, and this message will not be on the internet. Guaranteed. So yeah, that's it.
So we'll hit this last article dealing with the portion of censorship, small hats, and immigrants. And Shalom Tala Akim, and his Zaquanium who may be tuning in. Akim Akwath, Yahbashim Shabrak Shalom to the
Yahweh
brother Yakana. Shalom, bro. But so let's hit this last article. Now, this was a little surprising. This came out yesterday. Texas, because look, Texas usually the rebel state, doing their own thing, so on and so forth, right? But even Texas in on it, man. Greg Abbott, this from yesterday, not RT News, but Natural News. It says Texas goes full militant police state. This is why I want to highlight this one, because leading up to this, they put laws in place to shut people up. But now, again, this another way for them to put troops on the street, not per se, the National Guard or nothing like that, but more police out there, man. Just like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, how things so bad in the subways in New York, they said they had to put police down there. Which, brothers, y'all, whoever in New York, y'all can confirm how things going. But a lot of this stuff that's about to happen gonna give them excuses to put police on the streets, man, in military gear. Look, we're gonna play a little bit of it. So this says Texas goes full militant police state to what? To silence critics of Israel. All this for the little small hats.
And you gotta pay attention to the wording of these headlines too. Now that's, you just read about extreme verbiage, statements and stuff. That's extreme. Full militant police state. All right. And then they throw in, to silence critics of Israel. Then you say, oh, well, I'm for Israel, so that don't apply to me. And then there goes the divide and conquer. But then after that, it'll be something else. And then something else. Until it'll be a complete full militant police state. But that's a hell of a headline right there. They putting in the news about police states. That used to be taboo. That used to be conspiracy theory. Oh, a police state? No, never in America. You see, they just easing it on in there, little by little. Incrementalism. You got it out.
Okay, I'm gonna read just a little bit of it. What'd you say?
No, I was saying gradualism.
That's it. Yep. So let's see what Greg Abbott got to say about it. His thoughts on these, so-called protests. So it says, speaking up on behalf of the innocent Palestinians being slaughtered by Israel Defense Forces, or the IDF, in Gaza is an anti-Semitic act, according to Texas Governor Greg Abbott. So if you speak, on behalf of the Palestinians, then you going off. It says, it says Greg Abbott, who says that all of the students and faculty members at the University of Texas at Austin who are exercising their First Amendment rights in this way, this is what he said, belong in jail. You need to go to jail. You got it.
Yeah, now see, that's speaking as a dragon. That was it.
Now Yahweh ain't gonna get it, but Yahweh said they're gonna cast some of you into prison. Who knows? It ain't that we criminals know. Just for us bringing out the gospel, these gonna be the reasons, man. But we see they getting to that point though. They getting to the point. It says on X or Twitter, Abbott fumed about the protests after sending in Texas state troopers, Stasi style, to deal with the pro-Palestinian contingent at UT that is outraged over Israel's behavior in Gaza under the leadership of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. It says arrests are being made right now, and will continue until the crowd disperses. Abbott, a tried and true neocon Zionist who plays the part of a Republican, wrote on, that's what he wrote on Twitter. This is what else he said. These protests, I'm gonna read it from himself. This is what he tweeted. These protesters belong in jail. Anti-Semitism will not be tolerated in Texas. Come on, man. So Texas, look, Texas, that's a state you can supposed to do anything, right? Everything big in Texas, right? You know, Esau with the "Don't Tread on Me" signs and the trucks and F-150s and dip and guns. You see, Wild Wild West spirit cowboy hats, but it's an
don't
issue
mess with Texas.
You got it.
You know, don't mess with Texas. This the Lone Star State.
Right.
Yeah.
But now they so gung-ho for the small hats too. So he says students, and then look, he said period. Period. He says students joining in hate-filled anti-Semitic protests at any public, college, or university in Texas should be expelled. Come on, man. Let's play this quick vid. This is going on right now at Texas. University of Texas. All because people talking about the mini hats. And not M-A-N-Y, M-I-N-I hats. Seeing like a scene from like a Civil War movie or, you know, martial law. Let's see what else they got in here. Oh, it says Austin police have collaborated with Israel. Let's read this and we can move on.
Pink
it
City
says,
for City. Pink City for Pink City. No, I was saying Pink City for Pink City.
Yeah, right.
Austin is turned into a pink city.
Hey, you know they already got the saying in Austin, keep Austin weird.
Damn.
Yep. So I'll read this last little part. It says Austin police have collaborated with Israel. And it's mind-blowing how America, man, that's how I know Israel will drag these people in the wall. Because why is everybody so pro small hats right now? With everything they're doing, why is the whole world, well, not the whole world, but America, why is they so pro small hat, man? It's clearly something being pushed right now, but it says, believe it or not, the Austin Police Department, which locals defunded back in 2020, has close ties to Israel. The department collaborates with an Israel lobbying group called ADL and trains alongside Israeli occupation forces on how to engage counterterrorism. So they're working on fighting against, you know, terror ISTs. That's pretty much it. And it kind of go into some other stuff. Let's see. Let's play this video and we can move on.
It shows you, though, going back to what I was saying earlier, that the education system here in the West, it's not designed to develop, it's not set up to develop great minds, but to teach you or to tell you what to think and how to think. Not to develop critical thinking and logical thinking that you can think for yourself and come up with your, you know, come to your own conclusions and thoughts. No, they want to tell you what to think. Because just going back to Vietnam, the college campuses was crunk with anti-Vietnam, you know, the hippies and all of that era movement. They were speaking against the war. Didn't nobody get hurt. Didn't nobody, you know, for the most part. But now all of a sudden, since it's Israel, we got to shut down all of this. But yeah.
So I put his last little video. Said a cameraman got knocked out or something. Pussy. Man, they out there with the clear shields.
You see that boy with that camera, he said, let me get the hell up out of here.
God.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Move back, 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 move back.
I'm out.
And I mind you, remember last week we let Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, he said what? The FBI not go get involved in these protests until what? Until a situation or an event happen. As far as if somebody die, somebody start shooting, fights break out, bombs, whatever it may be, fires, that's when they go get involved. Now, it seemed like
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Then I was just about to say it seemed like, it's just peaceful protest and all these college students ain't gonna do nothing. But remember, what's the characteristics of Esau? He forced situations. What happened in George Floyd? Yeah, they was all in the hoods, breaking stuff, setting stuff on fire, but you had videos that was white boys dressed up as undercover cops, Antifa, whatever it was, dressed up as a protester, and they was the one doing these things. And that fueled the fire for all the other protests across the world, man. So it's easy for Esau, as you got these protests, hire a hired paid actor to go do some dumb stuff, man. Then the FBI go get involved. Now put more police, more state troopers, more shields. See how easy this is to just, man, come on, man. What you got us, Aquan?
No, I was gonna say just that. William Mott, he reported that at least as far as UCLA, that is the FBI that kicked off the riots, or the protests rather, not the riots, but the protests. They say it was middle-aged people, that didn't even go to the school, that just started protesting. And so he was saying that had to have been the FBI. But we know, see, that's their MO. We know that's how they do. And this is nothing more than a stylized false flag. And that to implement the draconian measures, problem, reaction, solution. But yeah, that was it. He said just that. Either yesterday or today. That yeah, the FBI is behind a lot of this shit.
God. Even in this article, it called them. It got Revelation 2:9 and 3:9 posted. Thou say you're a Jew, but you're not. Man, everybody see Esau, man.
Damn.
Everybody see him. But we're gonna move on. I'm gonna put that in the chat as well. So that's it for that segment of the lesson, which is censorship, small hats, and immigrants, which is immigrant. We'll go roll over into the next one. Now, we're gonna hit the gradualism to the digital IDs. But why I say the immigrant go roll over into what we're talking about with this digital ID, the CBDCs, is because you have this place in West Africa, Burkina Faso, right? Which a lot of these places, like in Africa, Europe, whatever they do that sign certain laws in a place like digital ID, enforcing people, these are like startups for the main countries like America, the UK, and so on and so forth. A lot of these smaller nations, right, are startups to get it started first, man. But let's read this on why I say immigrants, and also we see a lot of immigrants been here in America lately. And he also talking about bringing them over here. And we're gonna play this video, just a little bit of it, in Gaza right now. Netanyahu want to bomb the Gaza Strip some more. So a solution from America is that, well, we can go over there and get the Palestinians so they don't die and bring them over here and let them live. Come on, man, stupid. You see? So they're bringing in more immigrants. Now, why I said all that is to say this: gradualism to the CBDC. All these immigrants could be an excuse for digital IDs being needed, for cash being tracked. Let's read this real quick. It says, so this is from Natural News. This was put out a couple of days ago on the 30th. It says the United Nations, America is one of the main ones. But it says the United Nations tracking and controlling refugees, cash and aid relief in Burkina Faso through digital IDs. Listen to that title. How they controlling refugees and tracking them is through the cash, the aid they need, all by digital IDs. Again, we have a lot of immigrants or refugees here in America, and they still coming. This could be something that could be used too. And you said something before we started the lesson, Elder Tyler Powell was talking. I forget who you said was saying it on their thoughts on, I believe it was the protests or these immigrants coming. I know you said the immigrants. I forget who you mentioned.
Yeah, that was the video that I sent you.
Okay,
I think that had to been it.
Okay, yeah, I ain't got it.
I'm just trying to think. That would have to been it.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was, because we were talking about that video before we started, and that's when you mentioned it. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, you had a point though.
No, I was just going, if you want to kind of bring it up or mention it, but if not, we can hop into the article.
Well, we'll see if it come up.
Okay, Con. So let's read a little bit on how they dealing with these immigrants or refugees. So it says the United Nations, or the UN, along with other globalist groups, is reportedly tracking and controlling refugees, cash, and aid relief by means of digital IDs in the West African nation of Burkina Faso. It says Burkina Faso, or FASO, is a member of the UN and the Economic Community of West African States. However,
you just reminded me of something though. In that video, he did mention, he spoke about international interests. Well, I know he was referring to the beast, all right, NATO and EU, because the question, the interviewer posed the question, he said, well, if Panama don't like all that traffic coming through, you know, that Dorian Gap section, he said, why don't they just cut it off? And the man said, in theory, they could. He said, but it's international interest, the reason why they're not. And he worded it, that might not have been exact, but he was saying, it's world powers at play. And then that was key. So, with you reading that and speaking about the UN, yeah, this is a hostile takeover here in America.
that's right.
This is a hostile takeover, and the people are going to lose. Ultimately, Esau going to lose too. But people have to understand that you're at war. But go ahead, brother. I ain't gonna sidetrack you.
God, nah, that is it. So I read this. It says, now remember, everything we just read before this, right? How Australia, you need an online ID assisted by AI to surveil your content and what you're doing on social media. Then you had this thing, the thought police, right? Make sure you don't say anything about Israel. But let's get to this though, because dealing with these immigrants, this could be an easy way they can adopt this same thing they're doing in Burkina Faso over here in America. It says the Expose also elaborated on a separate plan by the Office of the UN, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, about a digital ID strategy. A pamphlet about the strategy explained. A legal identity for every individual is of utmost importance. However, a digital identity that gives access to the internet, to mobile phones, and related services is equally becoming important. Not just ID. What you just spoke about, you mentioned it, Elder Taza Pot, access to the internet earlier. Access to the internet.
Yes, sir.
All these things about to be linked together, man. Your health, history, right along with your digital ID, and your bank account will be linked to the same thing, and a social credit score. And if your credit score ain't up to par, then access to the internet, mobile phones, related services is gone. It's gone. So let's read about how the plans they got for refugees or immigrants, which America got a lot of them right now. It says it added that to achieve this end, the UNCHR will use biometrics, and digital ID to track their cash and relief items, right? And that this personal data will be stored on a centralized global UN database. Look at what they're saying, man.
Right. Let me filter that through the scripture real quick. I'm gonna give it right back. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. All right. And Great Millstone, we've been telling you for years that word mark was translated from the Greek word charagma. All right. Charagma goes into something inserted, coming from the root charax, which means palisade or palisade. The root of charax is grapho, is where you get to write. All right. And at the end of the day, that's what they're doing. They're writing. It's a record. That's what this mark is. It's a record, a digital all to show ownership, and it's going to contain records. All right, a recording, a writing of how much money you have, your medical history, your personal identification. All of that will be written on this mark, which is a symbol of ownership of who? Well, it's the beast mark. So it will show ownership of the beast, that he owns whoever is implemented with this mark. All right. You put your mark on the cattle, your brand. That means that's your cattle. I can't come and claim that cattle. So for all y'all that take this chip, Yahweh Shah can't come back and claim you. Because you belong to the beast. But right, it is plain. It says, and that no man might buy or sell. All right. And I mean, it's common sense, but anyway, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. All right. So yeah, brother, I just want to go into that to filter it to the scriptures, because it's been a while since we brought one out. But go ahead.
Come. So I read a little bit of this again. It says, so this is how they're gonna do it. To those immigrants or refugees, right? It added that to achieve this end, the UNCHR will use biometrics, your body, and digital electronics. It says, and digital ID to track their cash and relief items. That's health, finances, and your personal info. It says, and this personal data will be stored on a centralized global UN database. Refugees and other forcible
data has to be what? To be inputted?
You said
data, it has to be written. You know, but go ahead.
It says refugees and other forcibly displaced persons will, for example, check this out, have relief accounts that show entitlements transparently and track cash and relief items that have been or will be made available to them. What America been doing to these immigrants? Blessing them, giving them everything. So again, what the small nation of what is called fucking Burkina Faso, remember a lot of these smaller nations are startups and practice for these bigger nations when they do it, man. They just want to see how it work. Now let's read a little bit more, because let's see who helping them do this. Because remember, it said other agencies, right? Let's see if America, which it ain't America, but these agencies we're gonna read, the top nation. For example, let's read it. This endeavor would only be expedited by the Burkina government's March 2024 announcement about the Auga Dalgus. I don't know that one. It says planned expansion of a digital public infrastructure. Now check this out. The 150 million expansion would be backed by both the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and International Bank of Reconstruction and Development, and the latter part being the World Bank Group. Incidentally, both the IMF and the WBG are specialized agencies of the UN. Now, I remember on one of these Thursday Live, this was months ago, probably a year or so ago by now, but the World Bank gave a statement that their main interest, although you got all these countries, pretty much all the world under the World Bank, they said their main interest is America. So if they helping these smaller nations do this with their immigrants or refugees, would not America probably be in there too? But we'll see. Let's read a little bit more. It says the UNCHR is collecting, managing, and storing biometrics and digital ID data of displaced persons. Oh, displaced. We probably ain't gonna play. I'm gonna play a little bit of it, if anything. But Netanyahu want to continue bombing the Gaza Strip, and America said, "Well, we're gonna go get those Palestinians and just bring them over here." Right? That's displaced persons. So it says managing and storing biometrics and digital ID data of displaced persons and the communities that host them, not just the people that's coming, but the whole community now. Gonna have these biometric digital IDs, gonna have to get down because they there. Come on, man.
Yep.
Hey, what also they've been pushing for American citizens to take in these refugees, right? You're gonna have to get down with it too if they there.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Right. Yeah. And the
you got it.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Shit, the smart cities pretty much in place. I mean, them what fluorescent purple for fluorescent lights and shit, and everything else and shit. Most houses got smart meters with smart appliances inside. You know, so yes. And then, well, yeah, you got that. Go ahead. You got. I don't know if you're gonna play that video, but yeah, the CHIP, the MOTB is right around the corner. I mean, right around the corner. You threw in that article?
I'm gonna read this last little part and we can move on. I'm gonna play that video you just mentioned because that go right into it.
That's a pretty good article.
I'm gonna finish it out. It says The UNHCR is collecting, managing, and storing biometrics and digital ID data of displaced persons and the communities that host them. Bro, immigrants been on just everywhere in America, right? The communities that host them. And the WBG, World Bank Group, is increasing broadband connectivity to the same people. It says displaced people who are most likely traumatized and own nothing except for what they were able to carry from their homes on their backs are not prioritizing smartphones and broadband connectivity. They need food, clean water, and shelter, which it seems, now check this out, food, clean water, and shelter. Seems like you can get it from anywhere. That's a God-given thing, right? As they would say. But why should they say food, clean water, and shelter go rely on? This is how they're going to get it. They need food, clean water, and shelter, which it seems relies on them using a digital ID issued by the United Nations. Come on, man. If you want food, water, and shelter, you got to get down with it. I'll play this. God.
Yeah.
Yeah, they straight up saying it. But I'll play this video. So this from Clayton Morris.
All, brother.
Mm-hmm.
No, I said he calls it all.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, he's not gonna force people to get down one way or another. Or he gonna try to, should I say? Try to cause, But this man's serious about his plans. Although we know it's stupid, it ain't gonna be fulfilled. This man Esau's serious about his plans. And again, he losing his kingdom, so he ain't got time to wait no more. Scripture say he know he got a short time. He don't have time to wait no more, man. But let's play this from Clayton Morrison. This is other page. I know we usually go and redact it, but this is other page that it be on. It's called Morris Invest. This is personal page. Him and his wife got separate pages, but it's called Morris Invest. This was put out talking too fast. This was put out 6 hours ago. And it says the WEF, or the World Economic Forum, just admitted the US dollar is about to change forever. Let's play it.
Well, the World Economic Forum has finally admitted what we've been saying here on the show. The US dollar is about to change forever. That's right. We knew that CBDCs were rolling out, central bank digital currencies, but this week we heard directly from Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum that in fact 98% of central banks are preparing to launch CBDCs. Again, this right from the mouth of the World Economic Forum. After all, this is their plan. They've wanted to take away control of the monetary system, get it out of the hands of individual sovereign governments, individuals, and put it in the hands of Wall Street and larger banks. Now, when you have to understand the central bank structure in the United States, it's controlled by Wall Street. This is the goal, is to allow those big multinationals to control the money supply, get it out of the hands of the U.S. Treasury. Take that power away from Janet Yellen in the U.S. Treasury. Take it away from individual government. Put it in the hands of a few.
The reason why the seat of power is in Wall Street, because that's the home of the stock exchange and shit. But that's where we are today, to this very day, sold for bond men and for bond women. On Wall Street every day. All right, through your Social Security and your birth certificate. So, and I'm bringing that up to say that basically we making this shit go round. All this shit is based on us. We know the dollar, it has no value right now. What was keeping it afloat? It was the Saudis oil since '73, and that shit been shady. But the real money is you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's the real money. Y'all still to this day are being sold for bond men and for bond women. And yeah, that's a whole deep rabbit hole. But this is why this is part of why the invasion is taking place with all these people coming over here. They just like in the past, they coming over here to get a piece of your ass, and you don't even know it. Who's funding the war on Ukraine? Shit, the U.S. citizen taxes. Who's in the workforce? Jake. Who's funding the war in Israel? U.S. taxpayers. Who's the majority of that? Jake. And this is what I'm saying. This is why the scriptures say, man, Hosea 4 and 6. If just real quick, if you don't mind.
Now you got it.
Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. You're funding your own tyranny. You're funding your own oppression. Because you don't want to wake up. You don't want to come out of your comfort. You don't want to, you don't want to dare to do shit. Because you comfortable going to work, getting your check, and doing whatever you do with your money. However you get your money or whatever you do. All people have come over here and got comfortable. This is the reason why Micah prophesied what he prophesied, Micah chapter 2, verse 10. Arise ye and depart. But see, a coward or a man whose mind is at ease or who's at ease and comfort, he's not going to arise. And he's damn sure not going to depart. But it says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. So that's telling you right there who the Lord's people are. The Lord is saying, my people. Is that all nations? No. He said those who has forgotten the law of their power. That's only one people. Only one people that I know of received the law. So it's telling you who the Lord's people is and telling you that in their ignorance or through their ignorance that they would be destroyed. And who does that fit today? Worldwide, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, predominantly. Okay? I mentioned Micah. I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to give it back to you.
Now you got it, Zaquan.
I'm going to bring that out. This is Micah chapter 2, verse 10. All right. Arise ye and depart. This is to the same people who are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, the Israelites. All right. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Exactly. This is Esau's rest. All right. Which he's getting very little of these days because, as the brother just eloquently put it, he knoweth that he had but a short time, and that time is just about up. All right. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, meaning rulership, kingdom. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you. All right. Even with a sore destruction. But and you know, Wall Street do trade gold and all of this stuff, but the real commodity is us. But go ahead, brother.
I'm gonna play this real quick excerpt from this video because we did mention it, how they talking about bringing those Palestinians over here, and that's gonna even hit on too what we were just talking about with these refugees and immigrants, how they forcing them to get digital IDs, track them, and so on and so forth. Let me play this real quick.
On the agenda is moving thousands of
I'm gonna throw this in the chat so y'all can watch the whole thing.
Displaced Palestinians out of Gaza.
Oh, hey, he used that word displaced. Hey, he used the word displaced. That's in the article. Displaced people, they giving them digital IDs.
That's right. That's right. You got it.
Now you got to read that again. It says displaced people who are most likely traumatized. Man, Displaced people who are most likely traumatized and own nothing except for what they were able to carry from their homes on their backs are not prioritizing smartphones and broadband connectivity. So they ain't worried about that. This is what they worry about. They need food, clean water, and shelter. But this how they gonna get it, which it seems relies on them using a digital ID issued by the United Nations. Let's see what he got to say about these displaced Palestinians that America might bring over here. Granted, on top of all the other immigrants that come over here.
Before they're killed in Rafah, what are you going to be talking about? Clearly, first on the agenda is moving thousands of displaced Palestinians out of Gaza before they're killed in Rafah to settlements designated by the United States and Israel. This has been part of the plan for a while, including free flights and free passage right into the United States. As CBS News has obtained the documents right from their friends at the CIA, they're sort of testing the waters. So the CIA gives CBS News their documents. Remember, they're very, very close, the CIA and CBS. In fact, perhaps maybe the closest news organization to the CIA. But here they are. Here's the documents. Here's what's going to happen. CBS, you go on the nightly news and you tell America what's about to happen.
White House is considering welcoming some Palestinians from Gaza into the United States as refugees. This is according to internal federal documents obtained by CBS News.
As what? As refugees, just like this article said. And now, mind you, this is the United Nations. This is not just the little small nation of Burkina Faso. They're using these people as startups, man. That's it. These are test runs on smaller nations for the bigger countries. That's it.
The Palestinians under consideration would include individuals with immediate family who are either U.S. citizens or permanent residents. Last year, the U.S. moved 60,000 refugees from around the world, but only 56 of them were Palestinian.
You see, just wanted to play that little quick excerpt, and I'm going to go back to this. You got something, Zaquan, before I play this last vid? After this, we can end it, you know?
Yeah, you good, brother.
Come.
Well, the World Economic Forum has finally admitted what we've been saying here on the show. The U.S. dollar is about to change forever. That's right. We knew that CBDCs were rolling out, central bank digital currencies, but this week we heard directly from Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum that, in fact, 98% of central banks are preparing to launch CBDCs. Again, this right from the mouth of the World Economic Forum. After all, this is their plan. They've wanted to take away control of the monetary system, get it out of the hands of individual sovereign governments, individuals, and put it in the hands of Wall Street and sort of and larger banks. Now, when you have to understand the central bank structure in the United States, it's controlled by Wall Street. This is the goal, is to allow those big multinationals to control the money supply, get it out of the hands of the U.S. Treasury. Take that power away from Janet Yellen and the U.S. Treasury. Take it away from individual governments. Put it in the hands of a few massively large banks. And this all comes on the same week that we also saw more bank collapses in the United States, more seizures of banks, and massive amounts of U.S. deposits drying up in banks. See how this happens? All of these smaller banks get gobbled up by the big guys. So the J.P. Morgans, you have the Wells Fargos, Bank of America, you have Deutsche Bank, and these few massive large banks control the entire process. So let's go through what the World Economic Forum is saying here, which is startling, but we knew this was coming. So get ready, guys, to have like no cash anymore. Get ready to have a digital ID, a digital wallet that will control everything. Now, I know some of you might be saying, that's fake news. Well, frankly, you don't know what you're talking about. I've been studying and tracking this for a very long time. I point you to my deep dive.
You see, not longer than the apostles, because that's another thing I've been noticing. Everybody being forced to believe, not saying they believe like us, but everybody being forced to admit, I'm going to use that word, admit prophecy, man. Yeah. Everybody being forced to admit what the prophets been saying, man. The apostles, the elders, the Akim of Great Millstone, and brothers who teach the same doctrine. Everybody being forced to speak the same tune we speaking, man.
Yes, sir.
live interviews here with Whitney Webb, who's one of the foremost authorities on tracking all of the structure of these
That's
CBDCs.
another thing for IUIC and these other camps. So the whole world crazy, just like Great Millstone, right? So everybody crazy, all the nations crazy. Clayton Morrison right here crazy because everybody we see this digital system coming. But IUIC they got it right, I guess. Is the embargo? Come on, man.
And it's startling. The control is coming, guys. I mean, think about their ability to track everything you're doing through a digital ID on your phone. Okay. They'll be able to watch your carbon footprint. Oh, you've traveled too much this month. So no, you are not allowed to buy gasoline anymore for this month until the calendar resets for the month because you've driven to see grandma too many times, or you've been on the road too much, or you've flown too much, or you've bought too much meat. Right? This is the ridiculousness that we're currently facing right now. But they'll be able to track every transaction. And of course, they want everything then tied to the blockchain. This is the tokenization of every asset, farmland, everything in the United States. So they will be controlling everything and watching everything. It is coming. This is the dream. Now, they've already rolled this out in Ukraine. You remember, Ukraine is really a testing ground for a lot of this. They rolled this out using what's known as the DIA app. Okay, DIA was an app that was built by USAID, USAID, and the United States government, and of course, with the help of the World Economic Forum, to put this into a test bed process where everything can pay right with your phone in Ukraine, track everything. You can even rat on your neighbors. That's right, built inside the application. This is like 1984 level stuff here, guys. And we don't know how all of this is going to come together, but we do know the goal. The goal is total control. The goal is to get rid of cash. The goal is to make sure that every transaction is monitored and controlled through a central system that is all digital. So the organization that argues that wholesale CBDCs, which are restricted to large transactions between financial institutions, could address banking industry challenges related to interbank payments and securities transactions. So according to the World Economic Forum, they say that CBDCs are poised to improve our cross-border transactions. Of course, that's how they're pitching it, right? That, the amount of time that it takes for wires to happen, and I agree with this. I will agree that the process of sending wires right now is a disaster. It's like 7 or 8 different steps to confirm you're sending a transaction, then it's sending an information back, then it's going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So cross-border transactions should be dramatically improved. But is this the answer, where we remove cash and we put it instead in the control of central banks so that we don't have a physical representation of currency anymore? We simply have a digital representation of some sort of an international world currency. The organization, the WEF, acknowledges, however, that the legal and the regulatory elements needed to make widespread CBDCs possible have an unknown time frame. So again, 98% of central banks are preparing to launch this, but you have certain states in the United States which are pushing back against this. When you have Florida, for instance, saying no CBDCs, and you're going to have other countries.
It ain't going to work. He calls them all, and Ron DeSantis too.
That are going to say no to this. So I think we're really heading for an interesting moment right now with our monetary policy and entering this next phase. But we've been warning you it's coming. And here we have the World Economic Forum saying 98% are preparing to launch CBDCs. We'll get back to the video in a second, but look.
That's it. That's it. So Great Millstone ain't the only one saying this. Hey, the world's saying it now. But you got us a coin. You could take us out.
That's the world, baby. That's the world.
Mm-hmm.
No, I ain't had nothing.
Not just the city, but the world, Craig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it in the chat too. For Akim, Aqua, check it out. Hey, Kasai, what's going on out there in Austin, bro? Heard they wilding out there in Austin. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, UT.
Yeah, BA said something earlier. Yeah, we bring it out near UT Austin too.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, bro. But now that's pretty much it, Zaquan. You could take us out.
Yeah, I mean, so we see these prophecies coming into play. All right, we go out on Habakkuk. It was prophesied.
Mind if I get a quick one?
Go ahead. Yeah, we got to bring out. Yeah, ended on some fire.
It's Before you get yours, it's real quick. Ephesians 5:15. It says, see, I'm going to start at 14. Wherefore he saith, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Mashiach shall give thee light. See then, so seeing now we have rose from the dead, and we not sleep like these other people. Now we know what's going on. It says, see then that ye walk circumspectly. Pay attention, man. Around all, not just around our neighborhood, on a neighborhood app, just in your city or your state. We got to look at what's going on in the world, because a lot of these things that's being pushed in the world is going to come to America last. So it says, live, which is walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil, man. A lot about to happen. A lot about to happen. Again, the Wadi Bashim Al-Shah, he gave us the insight on some of these things, but we have to continue to pay attention as they progressing, man. A lot of people know what's coming or know about the end of the world, but they don't pay attention to the progression that's going to lead to that. That's what the Lord got us paying attention. Not saying us on a Thursday live. I'm saying in whole, the believers. He got us paying attention to the progression of things. That's why when the event or whatever do get mandated or happen, we going to know exactly what's going on, man. What you got us, Aquan?
That's it, your pie. And this is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. And I'm bringing this out because how it says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. And visions speak by coming to pass. A vision is a prophecy. All right. So, and this verse right here is hot in Great Millstone, because we are excited. We're seeing the visions speak, or we're hearing and seeing, we're witnessing the visions speaking. All right, so this scripture comes out a lot. But never the more important, each time it comes out, you know what I'm saying? It hits harder and harder. Right. But the visions and doing these lessons, the Thursday live, we try to give you a circumspect look through the lens of the prophecies, so that you could see the vision speaking and pull all of this together, for you and your family, you men out there. Because with each vision coming to pass, we get a more clearer picture of, the Most High coming to deliver us. It's just like the MOTB. The apostles knew what it was in the 80s and 90s. They didn't see it this clear back then. Now they see things, they can go into things that they couldn't have went into back then. You see, and it's like that for us every day. We see these scriptures come to pass and we're like, man, okay. But yeah, the bottom line is, we want to give you that eye salve, and if it's for you to have through the knowledge of these prophecies. That's what it's all about, these prophecies, all right? And we go into these articles and all of that, but it must be filtered through the truth of these scriptures, because the scripture is the foundation. This is the foundation, all right? And if you build without a foundation, your structure collapses. Your building will collapse eventually. So we must build with the foundation of the truth of the scriptures, the doctrine. So that's all I had. You had something, brother?
No, I just had this to back up what you said. This Proverbs chapter 4 and 18. But the path of the just is as a shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day.
Yes, sir. Yeah. That's right. Your pie. Well, with that being said, all right, we pray that you brothers and the sisters that watch were edified and stay up. That's all I can say, man. Stay up. May Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah uphold y'all in your journeys and in this upcoming, because we are in the year, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. So with everything that's coming to pass, and again, this is what we're trying to show y'all is the big picture through prophecy. But with all this coming to pass, you know, hey, if it's for y'all, may the Lord be with y'all. All right. And in saying that, we're gonna give all praises, honor, and glory again to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakadash. All right, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. All right, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. All right, Great Millstone Houston signing out. Shalom.
Shalom. The water for tuning in. Shalom.